We're just checking that we are live everywhere.
Good evening to all the South Africans and the Europeans, and good afternoon to all our American attendees. Welcome.
Yeah, hi. Tell us a little bit. We're going to introduce us now, ourselves now. We just want to give a little bit of time for people coming in. But please go ahead and in the chat box on the top right, just type in for us where you guys are from.
And if you're on Facebook,
and if you're on Facebook,
well.
Let me just see if we've got people there. So I just want to put on off the
just introduce
sound.
Introduce us now.
Okay, just want to see if there's people on there. So on Facebook as well. Hi guys.
Nice to have you all. You'll see there's a little chat box. At any time you can put in any chat in there or question in there. We are very excited to have you all here. We're just checking all the tech.
Okay, can everybody just confirm with us that you can see this the screen? It looks like we.
Hello, Anniki from Middelburg, Mpumalanga. Nice to see you, Annie. Yes.
We know you already.
Yes, and Christelle and Marisa.
Oh, can see the screen. Okay, great. Thanks, Christelle.
Yes.
Okay, God, so I don't know why is that like that.
Don't worry, we are sorted. You must know that you're dealing here and you're listening to two ADHD adults, so it's always fun listening to us.
And we work like this together, hip by hip. And this morning I said to Gordon, we had so many things to do and to do on our to-do list, different things. And then I said to her, now my ADHD is kicking in now, because what I want to do now is get up and go and do something else.
Because that's what we do.
That's what we do. So we try to ignore what we want to do, and I have to go and do something else first, like making coffee or anything like that. So, yeah.
Okay.
But we're glad everybody is here tonight. And for those that do not know us, but I think most of the people on here knows us, I'm Marlies, and this is Karen, my sister. Some people say we are twins.
I like that because I'm the older one.
Joined by the hip, and we do everything together, but we're also best friends. So I think that makes it also easier to work with. So welcome.
Yeah.
Tonight we're going to talk about
understanding
the behaviors.
Yeah, behaviors, why you are struggling maybe. Depends on what age your children are, but why are we struggling? And I know we are actually all struggling because we are in this crazy, can I say stupid times?
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah, we're a safe space, so we can say what we feel, because it's not normal. It's not like how everybody was used to. You know, when kids come to our center, we speak to the parents, and you know. Even the adults struggle because there's no routine, because children seems to be in this semi-holiday mood because they are going to school for 3 days and then 2 days not. And the days they are at home, they think it's a holiday. So, yeah. So
it is crazy, stupid times.
Crazy, stupid times.
And parents ask us for advice. And you know what I said to parents the other night is, it's so difficult to tell you or to give you advice because no one of us has ever been in this situation where we are now. So there is no advice. The only advice is structure, routine is all that we can do for our children. It doesn't matter if they are 7 years old or 17 years old. I've got a 7-year-old. I've got a little Laatlammetjie, and then I've got a matric boy and a boy that's 20 years old. And Marlies has got a matric girl as well. So we understand what everyone is, you know, going through. But we are excited that you guys are here. And the thing is, we want to really share with you 13, almost 14 years of experience in this field, and having children that also struggle or did struggle or had some other challenge during their school so will I say career,
Yeah.
And working with thousands of children, not only in South Africa, but abroad as well, we all have the same challenges.
Yeah. And it's like Karen said, we also work with professionals and also parents overseas, and everyone across has got exactly the same challenges.
Yeah.
So so you are not alone.
Yeah.
If you feel deflated or you feel like you're fighting all the time with your child, we all do it. If you are strict and you are disciplined in your home and they don't like you at the moment, it's okay. When they're bigger, they will understand. So
we were talking to one of our friends that's in America, because you guys are now in the middle of the day, but we were talking and joking about it's more wine o'clock now here for us, and she was telling us that some of their clients in America starts 1 o'clock at 8 o'clock in the morning because they
also homeschool now as well.
Yeah, because school only started for them. Luckily, we're nearing the end, so that helps. But yeah, we are here tonight to really hope to give you some things to think about, to maybe just understand.
And hopefully we can give you some answers and solutions. So if you've got questions, you can just type it in the chat box, or if you want to share a funny story or whatever, what happens to you or what you are facing now in this time, share it with us. If it's, like I said, if it's something funny, share it. We can all do with a little bit of laughing. Yeah. That's always good.
I'm going to check Facebook, so if I look away from the screen, I'm not being rude, so I'm just checking on Facebook if there's any comments or questions. So we're going to multitask, but we can do that very well.
We can do it. We're ADHD, we can do it. Okay, so let's go, and I want to talk about the first thing that we know. Why do our children struggle, and what behaviors you might see? They get frustrated. They want to, they learn a lot, but they don't get anywhere.
So we want to touch on whether you are homeschooling, and let's talk about schooling at home, or they are going back to school, so now we're getting more homework to do. So it's the same thing. It's actually the same thing.
Yeah. So the first thing, and I want to point out that this is very, very important, is that most of the time the children doesn't understand certain aspects of the work. And I think point number 7, if I'm not mistaken, is also, I think we can combine it together, is comprehension. And then I'm talking about listening comprehension and also reading comprehension. Now, I do study method courses from children from grade 4. So for our overseas visitors, the children are 10 years old or are going to become 10 years old?
No, they're going.
That's not my direct Afrikaans translation now to English, so excuse me, but I think you will understand. Turning 10. Okay, that's a better one. Okay, so they're turning 10 in that year. So, and I've been doing study techniques for 8-9 years now already, and all the children throughout struggle with, they don't understand the work because they have poor reading comprehension, and also because they've got poor listening comprehension. So what it basically means is they do not understand what they hear, and they do not understand what they read. So what do? They read through the work, and then they try and memorize the sentence exactly as it is. And if I ask them the meaning of certain words in a sentence or a paragraph, they don't have any idea even what it means. So if there's a sentence like in Hong Kong, people are living in different districts in Hong Kong. and I asked him, what does this strip mean? They don't know. So they will not be able to make sense of it and understand it. And it's only when they make sense of something and when they understand it and can actually make like a mental image, they will be able to better understand and retain that information. And the same happens if they listen to a teacher. So the teacher is giving class on some other subject, and the teacher saying also uses certain words or terminology, and the child doesn't understand, and they don't want to stick up their hand. They don't want to stick up. Stick up.
They don't want to put up their hands. Your English is finished.
My English is finished. Stick up is like, it's like police. Oh, okay, so the teachers.
But we are together, so that you drown, I rescue you.
Okay, so they don't want to put up their hands and ask the teacher a question. Most of the time it's because they're shy or they're scared that other people, the other students are going to think they're going to laugh. Yeah, so that's what we see. So we have to look at that as well. Is do they understand what they read, and do they understand what they hear?
Yeah, and if we talk about homework, that's the thing, is now you are at work, for instance, and now they have to do their homework and they don't understand. You know, that's why it's so important to make certain that if you go to work and you leave them, that they understand exactly what it is they need to do. And a tip that you always give the parents is to say, okay, this is the task. Now tell me, what are you supposed to do? Because that tip works. All the parents always like that tip that you give them. They have to repeat back and say, okay, exactly tell me, what is it that you need to do?
Okay. So, yeah, and then as well, also that comes into play is the speed is too fast in class. So especially if we look at learners that is slow processes. So everything goes too quickly in the class, and they can't keep up. And that in itself has got has an impact on the child again on different levels. So they might become now anxious, and being anxious doesn't help them to concentrate, and they become impulsive, and you know, it's like a whole intertwined thing that happens.
And another thing that happens in exactly the same scenario, and we're going to touch on that a little bit later, but if the teacher is standing in front of the classroom, she sees this, but they normally only see attention. And there's a big difference between if someone's that got an attention problem or a slow processing. But we're going to get to that.
Yeah. Okay. And then, of course, for our very young students, grade 1, 2, 3 especially, there's not enough time to do repetitions. No. Okay, so that's also important, and that's why we need parents to become involved and help and do the repetitions.
And especially now, it's so important that you guys do help them.
Okay. And then the other one, the second one, that's very important, of course, and I think you will all know about, but it is when a child is already behind in certain subjects, specifically with languages and maths. Yeah. It creates a big challenge for them, because they, you know, all languages and math, they build on to each other. So if a child is struggling now, say for instance with languages and with math, it's important to go and back and to see, you know, from where should we go back and try and catch up or do extra exercises to
try and build that block.
Build it up. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Okay, this is a cool one.
Okay. So Gordon's gonna take it from after this. So I just want to explain to you how the image here, how it works. So I'm gonna take give me the mouse, Gordon. Don't take my mouse. Okay. So this is an illustration. And we want to show you why is it important to look at your child's cognitive skills. So if you look on the left, you've got a green tree. Now the output there is your child's ability to pay attention. Do you see? There is pay attention. So we were talking about everything, all the behaviors we see. We all only think of attention, but it's not necessarily only attention. There's attention, one thing. Where's my mouth? There's back. Okay, there's attention. We want our children to be able to not fidget a lot. So not swinging the legs that they almost fell off the chair and are busy all the way, all the time with their hands too much. So that it distracts them.
If they fidget, they're not paying attention. Again, I want to illustrate this because really, and I've got loads. I was a teacher many years ago, and I've got loads of teacher friends. And the thing is, if a teacher stands here, and it's no one's fault, but they only see one thing, focus or concentration. So you need to split this up, and this is a very important part of what we're doing, is that there's different aspects of
that. Because also if they fidget a lot, you have to look at why. Because it can be they struggle to pay attention, but it can also be sensory issues. Yes. So we have to look at everything, but we want them to not fidget and stay on task. And then memory. Of course, we want them to be able to remember what was taught today in school, and then also come back and tell you about it. And again, if they have a test, study tonight and be able to retain that information, and then get good marks tomorrow in the test or exams. And then you've got, God, don't have my
thinking,
my spectacles on. It's thinking and reading,
and problem solving.
What's that one called?
Keeping still,
and learning. I don't want to go through all of them, but this is the basic skills that our children need to be able to do well in school, to be able to learn new languages, understand math concepts,
doing homework, completing homework,
everything. So in order for our children to do that, we need to go back to the roots and the basics. Where does it all start? And it starts at the roots. So the roots is the cognitive skills. So this is the skills that is taught. You are not born with these skills. You are taught with them, and you learn these skills through life experiences and playing and things that's done in pre-primary school. So they do like working with scissors, so they work on fine motor skills and
they play outside,
gross motor skills, auditory processing, lots of stuff, but everything through play. But now what's happening again is our children is growing up in a different era. So they don't necessarily go out and play and climb a tree and experience the different sensations and smells and stuff, when you climb a tree. And they are mostly in front of the screens. Yeah. It's not necessarily wrong, but we need to have balance and get them out and play again in the ground, in the mud, and experience and get the input from their senses.
And I can give you, because I've got a lot, Lamiki, I can talk from experience, and it's something that it's okay for your child to be bored. You want your children to actually be bored. I don't know when that happened, is that we need to entertain our children. It doesn't work like that. And I think if I remember with my child that's now in grade 2, I'm one of the older, I'm almost a grandma when I look at the other mums. But, it's okay for your child to be bored, because when you allow them to be bored, that's when they're going to start playing
and thinking of ideas,
creative,
and imagination, and everything. Yeah.
So just a tip.
Yeah. I can remember, Karen, what do you call an Afrikaans? It's earlier years in the gardens. It was like a walletjie. What do you call it?
I don't know. One of the Afrikaans people.
Maybe, I don't know what you call it, but it's like
in the garden.
In the garden, the walletjie. It was like a little
triangle
of ground.
Our dads look like that.
Yeah. But what we used to do when we were children, we were making tunnels and playing with cars and parking garages in that. And my dad didn't like it at all because his valletjies needed to be perfect.
Yeah.
But we were creative and we used our imagination to learn.
And that's when you get all these skills actually developed.
Yes.
But it doesn't work like that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the foundation. And only when this foundation is well developed can your executive functioning skills be developed and strengthened. Now, your executive functioning skills is very, very important because this is your higher order of thinking. So this is where the child has the ability to analyze information, to plan, to be able to do planning and have organizational skills. They have the ability to filter distractions so they can stay on task, and whatever is happening around them, what is going on in their minds emotionally, what they see, they are able to filter it out and then also stay on task. But if your cognitive skills is not well developed and strengthened, you're going to have problems with your executive functioning skills, and because of that you're going to have problem with the other things. So on the right side is the gloom picture of how it will be. But this is what we see. Okay, so the third reason that we see why you see these different challenges and behaviors with kids.
I wanna go in a little bit, and I want to give you practical examples, because sometimes, you know, as a parent, if you don't know, some of these words are sometimes so, you know, if you don't work with this, it's like foreign. I want to break it down, and I want to really give you examples of practical in your house. What are you seeing when you do homework? What are you seeing when you're homeschooling? I want to talk about that. Okay. So let's talk about attention, because attention, I always tell parents, attention is shame. I feel sorry for attention because it's always attention's fault, everything, but it's not. So, but let's look at all the different types of attention. So you'll see, we'll talk about sustained attention, and I'm going to talk layman's talk because I want you to understand. So that's attention span. How long can I start and keep my focus there, and I have got optimum attention. Okay, so possible problems, what you can see is they'll start a task and then they'll say, I have to quickly go to the bathroom, or drink some water. Or sometimes you don't get them to just start the task. That was what she was saying when ADHD kicked in, because there was just so much going on. She wanted to go make some coffee. It's just that. Okay. Your selective attention. Now, this one is, if we feel that is the most important one, because that's when you actually are supposed to multitask. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's, I want you to give the example here, because this is actually when you do the study method as well, where we show them and tell them that you are supposed to do different things. You know, listen to the teacher, write down the notes, make sense of the notes.
Because sometimes, if I can just go back and tell children how I explain to them what it is to pay attention or to focus, because if I ask them, what does it mean when a teacher tells you to pay attention now to what I'm going to say? The answer they give me always is, I have to keep quiet and I have to sit still. And that is not paying attention. So then I tell them, you know, when you pay attention, it means that you are really listening and engaging in what the teacher are saying. So there's a difference between listening and hearing. So hearing is when you look at the teacher with your eyes open, but you only hear sounds. You're not making sense of anything. When you're actively listening, to the teacher. You are really participating and trying to understand the concepts, the terminology, make mental images, really try and understand what is being said, and also to be able to identify if there's something that you don't understand. So that's how I tell them what it means to be, to pay attention. So it's not sitting still and to be quiet.
Yeah, that's when they go into their own little worlds and they just, and remember, that especially the children that's really good, and they fall through the cracks because they are not, we don't pick it up, the teachers don't pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
But now, later on, when they start doing tasks, that's when they start to struggle, okay? And then also the divided one is where they need to multitask. And I just want to go back to selective. This is one that people really struggle with, children struggle with, is to filter those distractions. Mm-hmm. I think it's better. A lot of parents said that it's going better now at school, but at home, because there's not so much distractions. Okay. So, but I'm going to show you a little bit later on how we can look at attention and how you as a parent can see exactly how long your child can pay attention. And if you've got that information, you can now, if you plan your schedule, use that to get optimal results with your child. And it helps your child as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we look at memory. Okay. Again, you can see now we talk about this, and I want to emphasize, it's in class, but it goes through to homework, and what Marlies does very well with us with the studying, because if we look at memory and remembering and recalling, all of those things, that's the stuff that they struggle with, because the foundation is not laid. And then I'm going to say it now, the children learns, they like papegaaien, they like parrots, they learn and they can give it back, but they don't understand what they're saying. Now, the clever kids, most of the students, they get this and they can keep this up. I would say grade 9, 10, then it goes down, because then the workload is just too much. Okay.
But it differs, because if you look at your short-term memory, and let's talk about grade 1 specifically.
Yes.
Especially now, you want them to be able to retain that information. Say, for instance, short-term memory, the information that's given to them now in a short amount, in that little bit of time, to keep it there and then go and do the task. It's like the teacher telling you, or it's talking about the story, a math story, or what story sum.
Yes.
Yeah. And the child must be able to remember the story short enough to try and work out what the answer should be.
Yeah.
But it does play a very important role. So memory as well.
Yeah.
I just want to add as well, as we go through this, just remember all of these skills
are intertwined.
They work together.
Yeah.
So if the one is not well developed, the child's going to struggle with some other skill as well. Because you need all of these skills to be well developed for your child to be able to do well.
Now,
so
memory, I want to talk about working memory, because working memory for me is one of the most important things, and a lot of children struggle with working memory. Now, I'm going to give you a practical example, and I want you to please do this with me. I'm going to give you a calculation, and I want you to be aware of what you are doing as I'm giving you the calculation. Okay, so let's say 7 plus 6 plus 4. Okay, so what did you do? You said 7 plus 6 is 13, got it? Plus 4 is 17. I'm bad at maths, so I hope I've got it right.
Yeah, well, I went like 7, 4, 10, and 7. Yeah. 6 and 4 and then 7.
Yeah, so we were not good at maths. Okay, but we've got this task, so I'm doing the first one, keeping the information there, and then I have to add on. So we use working memory, especially with maths. Now, the thing is here, is the step before working memory is if a child struggles with, let me rephrase, working memory really depends on processing speed, because if your processing speed is faltered or you've got a challenge with that, your working memory is you're going to struggle with that. And working memory is essential for reading and maths. It's just a lot of children that sometimes struggle with those foundational skills is because of working memory. And the other day I did a talk at a school, and we almost like family at this school, and the teachers were laughing because I was asking the teachers, what is working memory? And they had to go into the files, what's working. And when I gave them the example, it's like, oh, I forgot that's actually how it works. So working memory is really very important. So I'm just going to quickly go through the rest. Auditory processing is when information comes in. I need to analyze, blend, and segment the sounds. And again, if they've got auditory processing issues, they will most definitely struggle with reading. And remember, so it's not just the reading fluency, the reading speed. If that is a problem, we go over to comprehension, because now I have to read, I have to now comprehend what I'm reading, and then I have to remember it. So you can see it just flows into each other. And then visual processing again, is now understand I read, and now I have to do exactly the same thing. Okay, and then processing speed. And I would say, when we show you our assessment, for me personally, processing speed is the most important skill that we measure, because if you understand your child's processing speed, it's going to open so many doors for you to understand and help them. Now, I want to say this. I'm almost 49 years old.
Wow. She's old.
Yes. And as I'm sitting here, I am a slow processor. And when we
very slow,
but I always tell parents, don't think if we say someone is a slow processor, they're slow. I'm actually very fast, but it takes me a while. She will tell them what happened.
I tell her a joke, and then she doesn't respond, and then I think, okay, it's a bad joke, and then like a minute or so.
No, not a minute, not so long.
2 minutes. Well, okay,
not so long. Seconds,
but a few seconds. Yeah. Then she starts to laugh. I already forgot what I told her, and then she only catches the joke. So
that's just how my brain works. But it doesn't. I'm not slow. It's just that's how my brain works.
Nothing to do with IQ. It's just how fast your brain can process the information that comes in from all the senses.
And really, it's a really big problem, because if you, even me now, okay, I can self-regulate because I'm very mindful, but previously, if you tell your child that you maybe think is processing slowly, you say, come on, Marlies, come, you have to finish. That child just goes haywire. Nothing is going to happen. And I always say, the fact that I'm a slow processor doesn't make me less successful than anyone sitting next to me. But it's the way the brain processes. Now, if they process a little bit slower, remember, that's just the skill set that they're on. It's these skills, and that's the good news, is it can be taught and it can be enhanced, but we'll get to that. But if a child struggles with processing speed, homework is going to take not even double the time, 3 times the time. So it takes forever. So those are the poor children that's homework takes the whole afternoon, and it's actually supposed to take only half an hour. They don't complete tasks in class. If you look at them, these are the daydreamers. We always joke is that, the lights are on, but no one's home. Those are the
and students. Most of the time it can be girls.
Yeah.
And because they are very quiet, they usually are missed.
They fall
through the cracks, and then suddenly in grade 4 we start getting the parents coming to us
because the mark starts going down. Okay, so we're going to just quickly go through this one. A fourth reason can be is that there's some other learning disability. Reading disabilities, writing language, math disabilities. And remember, next month, we are now in August, so September, our whole month is going to be about dyslexia. We're going to talk especially about maths. So please, if you're following us, we are going to really share a lot of things that's going to blend in with this topic, so I don't want to go into that. So we're going to talk about, but the learning disability can also hinder your child to get the results that they are looking for. Okay, this one, you can go now. I'm resting now. You're done. Go.
Okay, so, but I mean, we've actually talked about this as already. So a problem can be if your child does have ADHD or ADD, and then also if there is executive function challenges, and that's because of, if you remember the tree I showed you, is because the foundation was not well developed.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, they are going to struggle with focusing. They are going to struggle with following directions, and especially we know that this is an area that ADHD children really struggle with. Okay, so but that is also a contributing factor. I just want to go there, and like I said, it actually blends into what I've actually also talked about earlier, is children don't know how to study. So, and I see the poor parent trying to help the children to study the way they were taught to study. Yeah, because that's your point of reference. So you want to help your child, but the way you help your child is not necessarily the way your child can understand. And I see it quite a lot. So I see that. Then I see and it's not a finger pointing, I'm just sharing what I've picked up through the years, is parents doing the summaries and trying
buying it.
They're buying it. You cannot learn from that's my point of view on it. You cannot learn from somebody else's notes, because you first have to understand the work. So I don't believe in that. It's not going to help you help your child in the long run, because who's going to do that in matric, and then after, who's going to do the summaries then? So I would rather, if you want to invest in something, invest in getting exam papers specifically to work through. But our children don't know how to study. So, and we must give them time and space to make the mistakes. Sorry, to make the mistakes. And then I see parents, we want them to be so perfectly 100% in everything what they do. But if we start to work with them from grade 4 and teach them different types of skill sets so long, even if you only start with reading comprehension, it's going to make a huge difference. I always tell the parents from now on, every day, you don't have to go and sit at a table and do work. When you go and pick your child up at school, every day, try and learn 2 new words. Anything. And remember, most of the times, the words that we think our children know, they don't understand it. And it can be, like I said, it's words strict. It can be words like stressed. I'm just trying to think of easy words
you think
they do understand, and then they don't.
So if they read, and I do this with my little one, is if we do our daily reading, and he reads to me, I let him read through the work, and then I'll tell him, okay, let's read again, and then he doesn't want to, and I just say, you need to, and then we read again, and as he's reading it again, I will stop and say, okay, what does function mean? Or what does, whatever word is, what does that word mean? And then 9 out of 10 times he says, I don't know. And then I say, okay, let's quickly. And then I try and explain to him what that scenario is. And then the next day, I will always remember the word that he was struggling with. And just as I was picking him up at school, I will ask, okay, what does that word mean again? And then that's how they start remembering. So it's not this big thing that you need to do. It's just being more aware of ways that you can help them. But this is essential, guys, really. You need to.
No, it's
help
building
them.
up on their vocabulary and their
Yes.
comprehension. And when they get in the car, don't ask them how was today. They're going to tell you it was fine. And then you're going to ask them, okay, what did you learn today? And nothing. Nobody ever learns anything at school. Don't know if you knew that, but nobody learns anything at school. So be more specific in what you ask. So ask them, what did you learn in geography today? And if they remember something, try and get them to tell you what they can remember and get a conversation going. We have to be more aware of and helping, because we're going to help them by doing that. Okay, so ask that specific questions, because tomorrow they know you're going to ask them again. And maybe it's going to help getting them to listen more in class. Okay. So how to study and then comprehension, like I said,
we talked about that.
So important.
It's essential.
Yeah. Okay.
So parents always say, okay, what can I do? So I'm just going to quickly go through it. Number one is you need to stay positive, and it's not the end of the world. We all struggle and we all have our bad days and we don't have enough patience. So
and we all will make it at the end.
Yeah, it's all fine, and just try and create a positive environment for schooling. And my advice always is make your children part of the process of planning the day, planning homework, because it gives them responsibility. It teaches them. And if they are part of this planning process, because they had a say, it's much more difficult for them to come back and say, but I don't want to do it, because they said they're going to do it that way. Okay.
So, Gordon, I just want to say, so that will basically be when they've got homework, is asking them, do you want to do your maths first, or do you want to do your languages first? So they're going to do homework still, but now they get a choice.
Yeah. But children, and especially now, I can't tell you how important this is, especially in these times that we are in now. They need structure and routine more than ever. And I know it's for a lot of parents that's ADHD. It's a tough order to, if you're not organized and you don't like structure and routines, to help them. But you need to just get some form of structure going in your house. And
they're going to fight you on it.
Yeah, they are going to.
But remember, and we see it a lot. We see the switch. Yeah. Suddenly, children are now the parents and telling the parents what to do. Yeah. And we see what happens as they grow older and what happens. So they're going to fight you in the beginning, but then they're going to say, okay, but this is how it works.
You need to set that
boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it helps you with this one, like the life lesson, when you have finished your homework or your maths, you are now allowed to have an hour screen time. Okay. Like I said there, create the structure, talk to the teachers. Teachers are up, I think their backs are against the wall, because they have to do so much in so little time. But talk to your teacher, and then break up assignments. That comes in with planning, and like Marlies said, be consistent and have the rules. Okay, so those are some real good advice that I can
give. And if they get angry, you just tell them you're lovely.
Yeah, and kiss them. Yeah. Okay, we will have to move here. I can't see anything.
Oh.
So we want to show you now what's going to change a lot of things for you, because like I said, most of you, I don't know if you've been on our website, but my story started, and this whole business started because of my son that's now almost 21, when he was diagnosed with ADD, when he was in grade R, kindergarten, and grade 3, he was diagnosed on the autistic spectrum. So I had the journey, and on my journey with him, and remember now, he's now, like I said, 20 years old. So that's now, he was 7 years old. So that's 13 years ago. There wasn't all these things, So it was everything, especially autism and things like that, was very foreign. But as I was going, I was the mom, and I was getting all this negative feedback from school. I was going from therapist to educational psychologist to speech therapist to OTs. And no one said the same thing. Everyone said something different. I remember at one stage I had 6 reports of him laying on the table. And as I was reading through them, and you looked at what each and every one of them was saying, if you didn't know that it was one child, you would have thought that it was 3 children or 4 children. That's how different it was. And there's nothing wrong with it. It wasn't a therapist. I'm not finger pointing at all. But it is a subjective measurement. They all used, and remember, he had autism, and they didn't know how to assess him. So my husband is a professor in chemistry, and I always tell people, if I say the sky is blue, he'll say, I'll just go first check if there's a study showing that the sky is blue. That's how pessimistic and skeptic. That's the skeptic he is. And because of our journey with this, we wanted to have an objective measurement where there was no person involved, because a person, if I don't like your child, or if
I've got a bad day,
I had a bad day, or whatever, it's going to influence the way I'm going to do assess your child. How is he quiet or whatever? It plays a role. It does. So we want an objective, but we wanted a scientific measurement as well. So we created. In 2016, we created Focus. It's a computerized assessment. So there's no person in there. They don't have to read and write. We'll go through what it measures just now. But you can maybe just share a little bit about the company. So we developed this.
Yeah, so if I say BioLink, we developed it together with AfriForte. Now, AfriForte is the commercial arm of the Workwell Research Unit of Port University, and what they usually do is they develop all these psychometric testings, and this company has more than 400 peer-reviewed articles on their development. So we are very blessed to be working and to be able to develop the Focus test. So the assessment was validated and standardized on almost 3,300 participants from the ages of 4 upwards. And currently, we just actually had a meeting yesterday. We're going to update the norms and stuff again now, because the norms are being updated frequently to make it as accurately as possible. But I think worldwide, we've assessed now more than 16,000 individuals, so we've got data on so many people. And what it then gives us is it gives us your child's skill set, but most importantly, compared to his norm. So his norm is the children in the same age and sex. Yeah. So it gives you that, but also it shows us the abilities of 6-year-old.
Yeah. What can they do? What's realistic?
What can we expect from them? So yesterday I also had day before yesterday, I spoke to a mom. She's so stressed.
She was in shock.
She was in shock. Yeah, she was just like going all over. And the child was now assessed for school readiness, and everything was fine. All the areas was met, especially, but only the attention part. So I said, okay, what did they see? No, on 55 minutes, the child started to get tired and didn't pay attention anymore. The child is 6. The child cannot pay attention. 100%.
She's actually amazing.
And 55 minutes. So we actually spoke. I spoke to the parent and some of the behaviors and stuff she sees. So I said to her, I think your child's only a slow processor. But let's see. So we assessed, and it was Bob's your uncle. Yeah. She actually, the child's actually able to pay attention better than her
much better.
But the processing is a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's the focus. So it's a scientific measurement of attention. So it's your ability to pay attention to a task at hand, and then to filter out distractions. Yeah. So we look at
different aspects. So this is what we're going to measure, and I promise you, this is so simple to understand, so easy to understand. We're going to show you an example just now, but we measure 4 things: attention span, processing speed, impulse control, and then most importantly, in our assessment, there is auditory and visual distractions built into it. Because one of the main things that we believe is that we want to get to the primary problem. So sometimes it's auditory and visual distractions that takes a child off task. And this is at this stage the only test in the world that does this. We want to measure the effect. So let's quickly
It has.
It has on.
So here's an example.
So here's an example. You're going to use the mouse.
What must I do? Okay.
So you'll see here this child was 9 years old when we were working with him. Now, if you look at there's consistency. Now, consistency is attention span. Starting the task, completing it in the set amount of time, and my quality of work is exactly the same. So if a child struggles here, like I said previously, struggle to get them to start, or if they start, they interrupt themselves. Today I can write neatly, tomorrow it looks like I've never written before, so there's no consistency in the quality of the work.
And this, I just want to mention, I don't know if you did say it, but the assessment's only 20 minutes.
No, I didn't say it.
Yeah, so this is basically, if you look at a normal school period, it's about the time a teacher actually teaches is about 20 minutes. The other 10 minutes is getting into the class or then leaving and homework and stuff. So it's a very good comparison to make.
So you'll see that purple line, if you can just show them the purple line over there. The purple line there is just to indicate that a 9-year-old's attention span will be between 29 and 60. What is that?
I can't see. I don't
68,
put on my other eyes.
68%. And the blue line shows this little boy's attention. Now, I look at the norm, but what I actually looking at is if you look at that 59%, what does that 59% means? It means, so I normally take my calculator and then I work out what is 59% of 20 minutes. Now, I didn't do the calculation, but let's say, for instance, it's like 12 minutes. So this shows a mom that, okay, he can actually pay his attention for 12 minutes. Now, the important thing here is that even though you can see in the purple line, he's in the norm, but that doesn't mean he's not struggling. Because what happens now, as the children gets older, this norm goes to the right-hand side because we get better. So this percentage, we want to get the score as high as possible. So this is one of our positive building blocks. It's skills. It's skills. So, and remember now, I always use this example. Can you play golf? No, I can't either. Can we learn? Yes. Now, I played tennis. Maybe you never played anything with a ball. So we will both be able to learn golf, but I will be on a different level. It doesn't mean you won't be able to, but it's just going to take harder work for you, for instance. So this just shows you, what am I working with? Understanding your child, and to show you that he's not being naughty. He can't. He physically cannot go for 20 minutes.
So now you know how to work with them.
You're gonna alter your plan. You're gonna alter the structure of how you play. You plan your afternoon. The next one, performance, is what I talked about. Processing speed. Now, this boy was brought to us because of the fact that he never could finish assignments in class, and we could see it's because of the processing speed. So these two constructs that you see here, we want the score to go to the right-hand side. Okay. Now, when we look at impulsivity, we don't want to be impulsive. So now we want to go to the opposite side. So the lower the score, the better. Okay. Now, remember, a child that's impulsive, there's two reasons. So when I looked at our group, there's a lot of people coming into the group where I asked, what are you struggling with? So slow processing is one. The other one is impulse control. Now, impulse control, you must also just remember, it can be, I was born impulsive. It's how I am, okay? But you will sometimes get children that have impulsive behavior because they're anxious, because of emotional things. So sometimes, and sometimes that impulsivity won't be all the time everywhere. So if I'm scared of maths, I'll most likely be more impulsive when I do maths because I'm scared.
And then you make careless mistakes.
Exactly. So this helps us to really dig into, if you tell me as a parent your child is struggling with impulse control, let's go dig a little bit deeper. Why is it looking like that? Okay. Now what we've got on the right hand side is just to show you is that, because you are going to ask me, okay, but Karen, this is awesome now, but what do I do now? And this is what we actually do, and I'm not going to go into this, but again, I measure, we work 40 sessions, 20 hours, and then we reassess to show a parent the improvement. And if you want to know how we do this, I'm going to direct you to, and if you can just in the comments here in the chat, if you would like us to email you the link to our YouTube channel. We did a presentation where we especially explain how we do this.
How we teach the cognitive skills.
How we improve that skills. And the thing is, remember, we teach this brain these new skills, and it's forever. If it's there, it's there. So why I just wanted to show you this. This was just after 20 hours of training, but how I can show a parent that, oh, he went from 59 to 79%. But what excited me even more was that his performance, his processing speed almost doubled. And that was one of the first things that the mum came to us and said when we did the second assessment, and I asked, what did you see? She said, he's finishing his work in class. And that's actually the only reason why she came. He didn't struggle with, he's very, very bright. His marks are very, very good, but he couldn't keep up. And this is just to show you that we can measure, but we can improve as well. And as we are going through the process, we will scientifically measure the improvement as we go along. Okay.
Did you put the distractions? Oh, no, you didn't put the distractions.
Yeah, because it makes it too long. But the distractions is just on the back side, but we can see, you know what? Sounds, this child hears everything, or visual. So then we can tell the teacher, put him in front, you know, so we can give them advice on that as well.
With distractions, there's basically, I want to say two parts. Yeah. Remember, all of us has got the ability to filter distractions, or we must have the ability to filter distractions. If you filter it too much, it means like something can happen outside. I wasn't even aware of it happening.
That's abnormal.
That's not right. So then we have to look at it and wake up the brain, because that's mostly when we see that in slow processing. We see that's the daydreamers. Yeah, they're there, but they're not there. Yeah. The other day when I did the feedback with a parent, the dad and the mom was sitting there with the child on the mom's on a lap, and he was like looking at her. But I can see, you know, the child's looking at me, but it's like that robot eyes. Yeah. There's nothing, and the dad said, I see, do you see? He says, I see. So, but it's like, and if it's too much, so it's so severe, it impacts the child's ability to pay attention, to function. We have to look at it as well. So you actually want to be, if you think of that line, we want to be in the normal filter distractions. Yes. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So let's just see then. Okay. So what can you do? Like I said, okay, thank you. We will send that to you, Greta. We can send you that link. But if you want to have more information, you know, you can go to our website, and then you can just look for your nearest BioLink agent, and you can phone them and do an assessment, go to them and have a discussion like this. This is what we do. I assess, and then I'm going to sit with you for an hour afterwards, and we go through this whole assessment. I never let a parent walk out there without understanding why their child is behaving like that, and with a small little plan of what can I do now?
Immediately.
Remember, there's you as a parent, you can't do what we're doing because we work directly with the brain, but you can put structures in place at home with the homework. And remember, that's why you guys are here, is to understand your child and make that adjustment. And that adjustment it can be changed like that.
Makes a huge difference. And it not only helps you as a parent at home, yes, it can also help the teacher. to know how to work with your child.
Yeah. We've got good friends here in Bloemfontein that's got a very, very big homework and remedial center. And they send their parents to us as well, because if we assess, we can give them the advice to go further with that child, to get the results with extra classes or remedial, because you need to have this foundational facts, I would say.
Yeah, it gives them a better idea if they know the child's skill set. It gives them a better idea to know how to work with the child.
Yeah.
So,
okay, any questions? We are done. So there's our email address. If you're in Bloemfontein, you can just give us a call. Go to our website. I've got some questions here. If there's anyone that's got questions that's on Zoom, Marlies, I've got here, what's the youngest age that one can test? So this mom wants to know when
so we usually recommend from 5.5. That's a bit early.
For girls, we'll take the girls.
Yeah, we'll take the girls. But I think if we want to, really test and have a good idea, I think 6 is better.
We don't want to go too early.
No. We do have we have done assessments earlier, but it depends on the child. Yeah. So if it's younger than
we're very
6,
cautious.
It depends on the child, because some can sit and understand it, but some can't, and then it's too traumatic.
Yeah. And it's not necessary.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's now a good time to assess my child that's in grade R. Yes.
Oh yes, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. The other mom, her child is going to grade 1. Yeah. So now we know that we have to look at processing and do extra exercises, and we also see that, I can remember with her, it was the auditory distraction. So we know to do exercises to teach that child.
Yeah. And then yes, what do you do? And we said that, what can I do to help my child? And that's another session of, if you want to really understand what we do and how we work, we will direct you to our YouTube channel. You can go and subscribe. There's loads of videos in there, because we try and get great topics to you guys every month. I just did mindfulness and anxiety one this morning. I will upload it and take it to YouTube tomorrow. That was awesome.
Gordon is going to try and do the breathing exercises tonight when she wakes up at 3.
3 o'clock is my new wake up time, but it can't work like that. So I'm going to try that, what she taught us. But also, if you're not in our Facebook group, you can go in there. We upload some freebies there, some checklists that you can go through, some extra videos. Remember, the more information you have as a parent, the better decisions you can make with regards to informed decisions with regards to how to help your child. Because you are all here because for one reason, it's like us, you want to help your child. You want to make a difference and make life a little bit easier for them. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all questions I have there. If there's no one else.
No other questions. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope we touched on certain points maybe that you can relate to.
Yeah. Well, you all stayed till the end, so if you can just maybe that you learn something, it always helps us if we do a talk like this,
see if we can improve, what else can we do.
Yes, and that we answer questions and what else can we help you with. So if for the next,
if you can just in the chat just indicate to us.
No one's seeing your chat. If it's just us.
It's very private.
It's private. You don't have to worry. So it helps us as well, because our goal and dreams are really just to give parents information and to help them, going forward. Okay.
Seeing us.
Leervol. Thanks, Chriselle.
We got the t-shirts.
We got the t-shirts. Yes, we did. Okay. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. You should have a wonderful evening.
Okay.
See you again. Bye.